The Los Angeles Chargers have done it. They've built a roster that can compete with the Kansas City Chiefs for the AFC West title. It's not all about offense with this team either, as some of their best-known playmakers are on the other side of the ball. This feels like the year that the Bolts take the next step and make a playoff run. In the Wild West, it's all about gunslingers, and the Chargers have one of the best in the league. It's hard to believe that two quarterbacks were taken ahead of Justin Herbert in the 2020 draft, as he's proven to be top 2 in that class for sure. Some might even argue he's first. If you trust the numbers over anything else, then you are probably on the Herbert bandwagon. He holds the record for most passing yards and completions through 3 seasons. He's second to Dan Marino in passing touchdowns, and is 4th in completion percentage through his first 3 seasons. Herbert also stacks up against the best in the entire league during this time span. He ranked 2nd in passing yards each of the last 2 seasons, and was 6th in the league as a rookie. In touchdowns, he's been top 10 every season in the league. He's done this through 2 head coaches and will be on his 3rd offensive coordinator this season. Herbert also continues to improve each season he's been in the league, carrying the team to a better record year over year as well. I fully expect that trend to continue into 2023. His physical tools allow him to lift the offense despite numerous injuries to his pass catchers. He's 6'6" with 4.6 speed and a cannon of an arm. If the target can get open, he can hit them in stride. He maneuvers so well inside the pocket, but he's perhaps even more dangerous out on the edge, where he makes linebackers and secondary players have to decide whether to pursue him or stay with the route runner. He's a true dual threat. But I believe this year the health bug won't hit them as hard. Besides, they've added insurance in the form of a new rookie weapon. Quentin Johnston joins 2 Pro Bowl caliber receivers in Keenan Allen and Mike Williams to round out a top 5 wide receiver core, and that's before we mention Austin Eckler. He's a top 5 running back in the league and is an elite receiver for the position. Justin Herbert will have his pick of the litter in terms of weapons to throw to. They all bring something different to the table as well. Williams is your ever-present deep threat who takes the top off defenses and can high-point the ball over smaller defenders. Allen is an elite route runner with sure hands, who with the addition of Johnston will likely be able to move inside to the slot more often, where he should have even greater mismatches. Finally, Johnston was added as another big body possession type receiver. Think he's in the mold of Alshon Jeffrey. Then Eckler is the safety valve and screen weapon who can turn a 5-yard dump off into a 75-yard touchdown on any given play. The hiring of Kellen Moore should light a fire for this offense as well. He's coming from Dallas, where he had a good group, although less talented, that he had finished in the top 10 of points per game the last 2 seasons. In all reality, he's a head coach in waiting for this team if things don't go the way leadership expects. He probably should have been given the opportunity to be a head coach last offseason for a team in need, but the Chargers lucked out. Brandon Staley is squarely on the hot seat after their early exit in the playoffs last year, and much has been said about his ability to manage the clock as well as make game time adjustments. I think he'll give over full offensive control this season, partially because it's the right thing to do, but mostly so there's someone else to blame if things go sideways. Coaching definitely matters in the NFL, but with a roster like this, the coach simply needs to get out of the way and call plays to highlight your playmakers. If this offense isn't a top 5 group, then they've underperformed. The craziest thing is they might not even be the most talented side of the ball. Once again, health has been an issue, but that's such a hard thing to predict. So assuming a generally healthy season for this team overall, then the roster is elite. Derwin James is the best safety in football. He has elite ball skills and has a knack for separating ball and ball carrier. He's also the emotional leader of this defense. Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack are still a top 5 pass rushing duo in the league. I know they combined for just 10 sacks last season, but Bosa missed nearly the entire year. If you have both on the field, they become exponentially more effective. Then they went out and added Eric Kendricks to play inside linebacker. He's a high-level player and adds even more veteran leadership to the locker room. Asante Samuel Jr. and J.C. Jackson should be much improved this season as well. Prior to signing in LA, J.C. was the most coveted free agent corner last year. He just wasn't available last season. I think he'll come back with a chip on his shoulder to prove he's worth the money spent on him. Last season, when decimated with injuries, the defense still ranked 20th in the league. If they can stay healthy, this group is easily top 15. Combine that with a top 5 offense, and they'll do big things. Their greatest obstacle will be the division they play in. The Kansas City Chiefs are the reigning champs, and until anyone proves otherwise, they're the best team in the NFL and in the AFC West. The Chargers are building a team to directly compete with the Chiefs. Last season, they lost both of their matchups with Mahomes and company by a combined 6 points. They understand it's nearly impossible to stop their offense, so the Chargers built a roster to beat them in a shootout. The Raiders won't be much competition this year, especially while they try to figure out if Jimmy G will even be available to play this season. The Broncos are the most interesting of the group because they were so bad last year, but everyone just assumes it was the coaching. So they brought in Sean Payton to save the day, and there's still plenty of talent on both sides of the ball, but it will all rest on Wilson. So the Chargers are essentially in a two-team race for the top spot in the West. Can they take first place?